Hello, my name is Scott Dillon. I am the Equal Opportunity Officer and Title IX Officer for ABCCM. I'm here today to speak with you all about ABCCM's obligations not to discriminate. To help fund the work that we do, ABCCM receives funds under the Federal Workforce Innovation and Opportunity Act, formerly known as the Workforce Innovation Act. As a recipient of this funding, ABCCM is prohibited from engaging in discrimination on the basis of race, color, national origin, disability, sex, age, political affiliation or belief, citizenship, and on the basis that someone is a participant of our homelessness services program. This obligation not to discriminate extends to both our residents and staff. In addition to our legal obligations under the WIOA, ABCCM, either because of other laws or because it chooses to do so, has expressly adopted procedures that impose additional obligations on our organization not to engage in discrimination on the basis of an individual's parental status, marital status, family status, income, sexual orientation, or genetic information. We take our legal and self-imposed obligations seriously. We do not want people to feel like they cannot engage fully with ABCCM by virtue of who they are, and we want to make sure that employees and volunteers of ABCCM understand ABCCM's policies regarding non-discrimination. You should also know that we will give this training annually and to new staff and volunteers. If you have questions about the training, you should feel free to contact me directly at scott.dillon@abccm.org. If you are a volunteer, you can also email me or fill out a question form and drop it off at the locked question box in the area where you are signing in to volunteer. Your questions will be answered within 7 days. Non-discrimination is ABCCM's responsibility. ABCCM may not discriminate against applicants for programs in employment, residents, staff, volunteers, or members of the general public on the basis that they are a member of a protected class. ABCCM will not retaliate against individuals who report discrimination, individuals who have furnished information to or assisted in or participated in any manner in an investigation, review, hearing, or any other activity related to a discrimination complaint or other type of enforcement or non-discrimination law. Now, to clarify what I mean when I say a protected class, I mean that ABCCM cannot discriminate against you because of your race, color, religion, sex, national origin, citizenship, for example, if you had a green card or were a refugee, age, disability status, political affiliation or belief, or because of your status as a participant in any WIA or WIOA funded program. In addition to these obligations, either because of other laws or because of our own policies, ABCCM's own non-discrimination policies go beyond prohibiting discrimination based on the classes listed on the last slide. As a resident, you should know that it is our policy not to discriminate against anyone on the basis of the factors listed on the prior slide and the additional factors listed on this slide. I also want to point out that discrimination on the basis of your marital, familial, parental status, or sexual orientation are considered discrimination on the basis of sex or gender, which is prohibited under the WIA, WIOA, even if these categories are not expressly listed in the statute and regulations. This slide provides some legal definitions of how discrimination might manifest itself. So the more obvious type of discrimination is disparate treatment. For example, if a case manager said to a female resident of Steadfast House who wanted to access job skills training for a job that is traditionally performed by men that she ought to do something different because that job is man's work, that would be an example of treating someone differently because of sex and or gender. Disparate impact can be less obvious. For example, if ABCCM had a rule that prevented ABCCM from hiring someone with any type of criminal conviction for employment, that rule could potentially have a disparate impact on the lines of race. On a fundamental level, discrimination says to someone, I reject you because of who you are. No one wants to experience this in a work setting, and especially not our residents, who have had enough on their plates as participants of our programs. ABCCM is not going to tolerate discrimination. The third broad class of unlawful conduct in the area of non-discrimination would be to retaliate against someone who decided to report discrimination. So, for instance, if a resident believed that she had experienced discrimination and she reported it to me, her case manager recommending that she be dismissed from the program would be a form of retaliation. An additional type of discrimination is harassment. Harassment is unwelcome conduct on the basis of protected class which creates an environment that is intimidating, hostile, or abusive. Unwelcome conduct can include, but is not limited to, offensive jokes, slurs, epithets, or name-calling, physical assaults or threats, intimidation, ridicule or mockery, insults or put-downs, or offensive objects or pictures. This slide provides some examples of how gender discrimination might manifest itself at ABCCM. Disparate treatment. Not giving men and women the same access to certain educational offerings, choosing to serve one shelter because of a preference for working with a particular gender. Disparate impact, a neutral policy that only individuals who can lift 100 pounds can work in ABCCM's free clinic. Retaliation, a volunteer refuses to serve a meal to a resident because she filed a complaint that ABCCM was discriminating on the basis of gender. Pregnancy, childbirth, and related medical complications discrimination would entail discriminating against a woman because of pregnancy, childbirth, or a medical condition related to pregnancy or childbirth. Also, as an example, ABCCM penalizing women who needed to request time off due to pregnancy would be a form of discrimination. Transgender status and gender identity discrimination. Transgender is an umbrella term for persons whose gender identity, gender expression, or behavior does not conform to that typically associated with the sex to which they were assigned at birth. Gender identity refers to a person's internal sense of being male, female, or something else. Gender expression refers to how a person communicates their gender identity to others through behavior, clothing, hairstyles, voice, or body characteristics. Discrimination against a person because they are transgender, identify as a particular gender, or because of how they express their gender constitutes discrimination based on sex and is strictly prohibited. Examples of transgender or gender identity discrimination would be prohibiting a person who is transgender from volunteering at ABCCM, or making jokes, conveying threats, or using verbal slurs to make a transgender program participant feel unwelcome, such that they leave ABCCM's programs. What does sexual harassment look like? Threatening someone so that they will engage in unwanted sexual activity, sexual innuendo and comments, asking questions about a person's sexual history, ogling or leering, an unwanted neck or shoulder massage, brushing against a person, or unwanted touching, frequent jokes about sex or men or women, stalking a person, letters or displays of material that are of a sexual nature, or attempted or actual sexual assault. These are examples of sexual harassment. It's not an inclusive list. Sexual harassment and the examples of gender discrimination that I listed on the prior slides are expressly prohibited by ABCCM. Report violations to ABCCM management, state, or federal officials. Non-discrimination is also your responsibility. As employees and volunteers, you are the face of ABCCM, and you may not engage in conduct that is discriminatory. Additionally, ABCCM may not engage in conduct that is discriminatory towards you. It is our hope that you will be treated with respect and in a non-discriminatory manner for the duration of your time with ABCCM. However, Should you feel that you've experienced discrimination, we do not tolerate discrimination, and we want you to consider filing a complaint using the process outlined in this presentation. Additionally, should a resident ever approach you and tell you that he or she believes that they have been discriminated against on the basis of a protected class, then we want you to remind them that they can file a complaint with ABCCM and the U.S. Department of Labor. If you experience discrimination at ABCCM, or a resident advises you that they have experienced discrimination at ABCCM because of race, color, religion, sex, national origin, citizenship, age, disability status, political affiliation or beliefs, or because they are a program participant, you should follow the procedure outlined in ABCCM's website, or counsel a resident that they can go to our website or use the resident's handbook to access this policy. Please note that you have the option of filing a complaint directly with ABCCM through me in my capacity as EO officer or with the Civil Rights Center. So you can file a complaint with either me or the U.S. Department of Labor, but you should do so within 180 days, approximately 6 months, of the incident in which you believe discrimination occurred. Complaint forms are provided by ABCCM through its website, or you can ask for a hard copy from me. If you are filing a complaint with the U.S. Department of Labor directly, they have forms on the website at the link above. The form will give you some guidance, but I would like for us to go over what needs to be in a complaint in order to be properly evaluated by me or the CRC. Each complaint must be signed by the complainant or his or her authorized representative. They also need to contain the complainant's name and address, or specify another means of contacting them. Identify the respondent, the individual or entity that the complainant alleges is responsible for the discrimination, and they need to describe the complainant's allegations with enough detail as to allow the EO officer or the USDOL director to determine whether there is jurisdiction over the complaint and whether the complaint was filed on time, as well as if the complaint has any merit. That is, whether the complainant's obligations, if true, would violate any of the non-discrimination and equal opportunity provisions of WIA or Title IX or the regulations. I will acknowledge receipt of your complaint within 5 days of it having been filed. I will then review your complaint to determine if there is jurisdiction, and I will make that determination within 15 days of the acknowledgement letter. I may offer you some informal resolution for your complaint. But if this is not acceptable to you, and you know that you have the right to say that it is not acceptable, then I will conduct a full investigation into the allegations. You should know that you have a right to representation by an attorney, and your identity and the identity of any witnesses will not automatically be disclosed to anyone unless it is truly necessary for the investigation. There are extra timing pieces if you file a complaint with ABCCM directly. Specifically, I have 90 days from the date of your complaint to issue a notice of final action. If I fail to issue a notice of final action within 90 days, then you have 30 days from the 90-day deadline to file a complaint with the U.S. Department of Labor's Civil Rights Center. If ABCCM does not give notice of final action, but you are not satisfied with the decision or solution, then you may then file a complaint with CRC. That complaint must be filed within 30 days of receipt of ABCCM's notice of final action. Ultimately, ABCCM wants to go beyond its legal obligations and ensure that ABCCM is a place where everyone is treated in a respectful manner. We are committed to serving you. If you have any questions about the training, feel free to contact me at scott.dillon@abccm.org. If you're a volunteer, you can email me or fill out a question form and drop it off in the locked question box in the area where you're signing in to volunteer. Your questions will be answered within 7 days.